what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this like from a round to round perspective. I'm going to give thoughts on every single player that I can. But for the most part, I'm going to look at it from a round to round. Let's say you're in a 10-team league. Here's how it would look in the first round. Here's are the guys that are on the docket for you. Jamar Chase, Bijan, Jay Jetta, Saquon, Jameer Gibbs, CD, McCaffrey, Puka Malik, and then Amon Ra. Now, if you're in the top 10 or in a 10-team league in your that first round pick, it should not be anyone outside of these top 10 guys. Ashton Genty has a ton of potential as a rookie running back. And historically, the rookie running back has been, except for 1 year, since I think it's 2017, has been better than last year's running back one every single year.
So Ashton Genty is going to be theoretically better than Saquon Barkley was last
Ashton
year.
Genty is essentially guaranteed to be better than Saquon Barkley this year. But I think we're in a spot where that's going to kind of change this year, and it's not going to be the case this year. It still would take Saquon over Ashton. I think you're in just a luckier spot there. But the first running back rookie taken off the board since 2017 has been better than last year's running back one every year except for one, and the other one was last year where it was the guy from Jonathan Brooks from Carolina, and he did not play the entire season.
Yeah.
So that's your only exception to the rule. I expect Ashton Genty to play the entire year, but I would not take Ashton Genty in my top 10 as a first-round pick. For me, the number one overall pick should be Bijan Robinson. I think his receiving production is insane. He's in his prime. All of those things. The shares he get was kind of talked about a ton last season with Tyler Algier. Like he wasn't getting the numbers when he wasn't getting the touches in the goal line. But he struggles for those first 4 weeks. Really, first 5, not scoring more than 16 points. But from there on, he averaged 27 points per game as a running back. And so for me, he is the first overall pick. Also, the only kind of like downside on him this season is, how's he going to play with Michael Penix?
He played with Kirk Cousins last year, Brad.
In the 3 games he played with Michael Penix, he averaged 27 points. He scored 24 points or more every single time, including 31 in the finale of the season. So even in the concern with Michael Penix, he was excellent. He would be my number 1 overall pick. Jamar Chase would be second for me. I would take Jamar's number 2 overall. The knock on Jamar is he's the first overall pick, and historically the 1.01 has not been great for many years running. But nothing has changed in Cincinnati. Quarterback is still the same. Even T. Higgins is still there. What changes is when T. Higgins is out. He is just like unbelievable. And given T. Higgins and his injury concerns, like I think Jamar Chase is just kind of a layup as a number 2 overall pick. And then it gets into the interesting spot where you're sitting there at 3. For me, my 3rd overall pick, it'd be Jameer Gibbs. He's ranked as 5 for ESPN, but he would be the 3rd pick for me. I just think the production is there, the receiving talent is there. Now, there's 2 concerns with Jameer Gibbs this year, and the 2 are Frank Ragnow retiring, and there's a stat that last year in the 3 games without Frank Ragnow, Detroit was ranked 23rd in run blocking success. In the games Frank Ragnow played, they were ranked 3rd in run blocking success. So there is concern there for Gibbs, but I think the ceiling is just kind of unbelievable for this guy, specifically in the final 3 weeks of the season last year. If you had him in the postseason, weeks 15 through 18, he averaged 30 points per game. So this is a guy that, like, when you're drafting the first round, you're looking for guys that can just straight out win you the week by scoring 40 points or more. Jahmyr Gibbs is in that class, along with Bijan and Jamar Chase. So I'd have him at 3. And then
Hold up. Do you have any concerns about David Montgomery and the fact that he gets some of the goal line touches?
no,
like-
because last year, even with David Montgomery and all his touches on the goal line, Jahmyr Gibbs was ranked 6th in the NFL in touches inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
6th.
So it's just one of those things where, as a fantasy owner, fantasy manager, it definitely sometimes you see Montgomery, and I have Gibbs in a keeper league. I have Bijan and Gibbs in the same league. It's insane, but it does hurt when you see Montgomery trot out there and you're like, freak this guy. But it's that the 5% of those plays are clouding your judgment, clouding your memory of the 95% where Gibbs is getting the big touches.
Correct. You would like him to have 100% of the touches
Exactly.
on the goal line.
Yeah.
For my 4th guy, I'm taking Justin Jefferson. I'm
Reach.
not worried about the production with J.J. McCarthy at quarterback because he's had every other kind of quarterback you can name, and he's produced at a high level. Sam Darnold, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, Kirk Cousins. I would take him at 4, and I think I'm taking him at 4 more often than I am anyone else because I have more concerns about the other guys, and I'll get into that right now. Saquon, number 5. I already mentioned it earlier. He is statistically almost guaranteed to be worse than Ashton Jeanty this year. He's also on the Madden cover. That's historically not been good. For context, Christian McCaffrey was on the Madden cover last year. Madden curse is definitely still a thing. Other one is I am concerned about health. He has had bad injuries in the past, of course, and with the amount of touches he got last year, I'm concerned about him from a health perspective. Now, I do want to push back on there are people that talk about the touches with Saquon, and they're concerned of, he's going to lose a bunch of touches last year. Saquon had 15 more touches than Bijan Robinson. And so if Bijan Robinson had 15 more touches last year, had the same amount of touches as Saquon, would people have the same concern? No, clearly not. It's 15 touches already right now, and no one's concerned about the volume with Bijan, and yet we're concerned about the volume with Saquon. So even if he regresses from a touches perspective, I don't think that's a big concern. The only other one is 54% of his rushing touchdowns last year were 20 yards or more. And so you're almost, as good as Saquon is, you're almost guaranteed that that's not going to be the case. Saquon, in fact, had 5 50-plus rushing touchdowns last year, including one in the postseason. So there's some concern that would fall off a little bit, and that's going to hurt you a little bit. I think the biggest thing for Saquon is, and why he's ranked lower than the other running backs, is just Jalen Hurts. Freaking sucks, and I can tell you that from a guy who had Saquon last year. Jalen Hurts scores 20% of his points from the 1-yard line and in with his rushing touchdowns. He's almost guaranteed double-digit rushing touchdowns every single year. And so that's double-digit rushing touchdowns that are taken away from Saquon. Saquon last year would have been even better without Jalen Hurts. Now, of course, Jalen Hurts being there is a part of why he is so good. But with the goal line touches, Saquon would have been historic from a fantasy perspective. And then that gets into the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 range, which is where it gets really, really interesting. For me, at 6, I'm taking CeeDee Lamb. It's not really a debate. He is, I think, just a higher class than the other guys. But then 7 is where you get, and that's where I pick in one of my leagues, and I'm very concerned about this pick. Right now, I would pick.
You're just going to give this away? What if the people in the league hit listen?
But I think if he's saying if they take Christian McCaffrey higher than 7, they've reached.
Yes.
So
That's fair.
I think I'm going to be in a spot.
then someone falls to him. So perfect.
I would take Christian McCaffrey number 7. And I think you're getting unbelievable value taking him at number 7. And here's why. In the 3 years Christian McCaffrey was the ADP number 1 overall pick. He was running back 54, 38, and 69. In the years where he was not drafted number 1 overall, he was running back 2, running back 2, running back 1, and running back 1. In the years he was running back 1, he was 157 points, better than running back 2. And the other year he was running back 1, he was 100 points, better than running back 2. And so this is the year that Christian McCaffrey will be great. And given the condition of the 49ers offense as well, I think he's going to be even better. They have no receiver threats outside of Ricky Pearsall. Although Juwan Jennings is expected to play week 1.
They got George Kittle, too.
George Kittle will be excellent, and I'll talk about him as we get there. But Christian McCaffrey will be the 7th overall pick, and by a wide margin for me. And I think it's mainly because of that. I'm not concerned about injuries this year. I think we're on the right side of that coin. The law of averages says it won't happen this year. Says he's guaranteed to be running back 1 or 2. And compared to the other 3 running backs, I think that's a statement. So to get him at 7, I think is unbelievable. Are there concerns there, though?
Yeah, I mean, as someone that had the 1-1 pick last year and took him because you kind of had to take him, and that was one of the years where he finished outside the top 50 in running backs, it's just hard to get spurned like that and buy back in immediately the next year. Realistically, I know you should draft objectively and remove emotion and bias. However, I find that less fun, and so I'm a little miffed at how it turned out last year. I would struggle to take him again.
Any concerns about Christian McCaffrey, Sanders?
Yeah, a ton.
Why so?
I mean, I just don't like. I get the stats, and so that is fair, and there is a chance he is good. But also, the thing that you didn't mention, and every time when he bounced back from injury, is he's now older than he ever has been. Which, that's obvious as how aging works. But when you're a running back and now it's not just he's recovering from his 3rd injury, he's also these things pile up. He's getting older, and so just to assume, well, he's just going to bounce back as number 1 and number 2 after every injury. Eventually you get to the point where you don't bounce back anymore. So that is one of my concerns is his age. He is older than the majority of running backs. Most running backs don't get a second contract. So the fact that he's still going at this point, it's incredible, and I hope he continues. But those are my concerns: is not just the injury, but the injury combined with the age.
Completely fair, and that's why I'm also concerned about taking him at 7. But I would take him at 7 right now, and I'd even take him as high as 5. I think you still get the value there at 5. Taking him over Saquon, I think there's still value there, because the concerns I still think are there, almost the same. McCaffrey's had a larger injury history, but I still think people are...
Saquon's torn his ACL, hasn't he? And broken his ankle?
Yeah, the people are on the same page of they both have a good chance of getting hurt this year.
Yeah.
For different reasons, but I think both people have that concern. And so taking McCaffrey versus Saquon I don't think is necessarily that big of a debate, I guess I would say. At 8, and I think this is controversial for me, but I'm taking Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors has a really, really good chance to be wide receiver 1 this year. Last year he was unbelievable, missing 2 games last season as well. He set the rookie reception record, and he's now coming into a season where he's going to have a quarterback that isn't Daniel Jones or Tommy DeVito.
Huge for the program.
And that is massive. The only thing on Malik Neighbors is just that he gets hurt a ton and has been hurt a ton, and they're just little nagging injuries. This offseason, it's been shoulder, toe, and there's another injury he's doing.
Back, I think.
Back as well. Now, what's great about all 3 of those injuries is none of them are soft tissue. None of them are hamstring, which is a big concern for especially receivers having to be explosive off the ball. That's not a concern for Malik. I think he's got a great chance to be wide receiver 1 this year. I'd take him as high as 5 as well. I'd take him over CD, Christian McCaffrey in some cases. But it's controversial because the guy who's ranked higher than him is Puka Nacua, and Puka Nacua last year was on pace for like 1,700 receiving yards. He missed the first, essentially, 6 weeks of the season after playing in the opener against Detroit. Hurts his knee and then comes back, and he was substantial for Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams in his return. Stafford loves him, loves giving him the ball. My concern right now is I'm really concerned about Matthew Stafford and his health. So I don't know about Puka Nacua without Matthew Stafford because we haven't seen that.
Who's the backup there? Just curious.
If I'm not mistaken, it's not Stetson Bennett. It might still be Mr.
I think it is Stetson Bennett.
Mr.
I know
Wolford.
Bennett's on the roster. I don't know. He's been having a good preseason. One of the Georgia fans was talking to me about that in our TikTok comments a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy
Oh,
stuff.
that's right. It's Jimmy Garoppolo. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Shout out Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, good luck with Jimmy G. And then I take Amon-Ra St. Brown at 10. Now, I think there's a odds to reach for Devon Achane, and I've already kind of made the case to reach for Ashton Genty twice, but I wouldn't reach for either of them. And that kind of closes out the first round.